Hey, I'm Ali Manucheri. I'm here with the Immigrant Entrepreneurs, and I'm proud and honored to have my first guest of the podcast today with me, Reza, who is my cousin, but also a very successful immigrant entrepreneur. He has a very inspiring story. I know I know his story, part of it, not everything, not all the details. And I'm really glad and honored to have you as a guest, as my first guest actually,
Thank you.
on my podcast. So the journey goes back to 25 years ago when you visited me in Switzerland before you came, and it's amazing. It feels like it was yesterday. So you visited me in Switzerland before you came to the US, and yeah, man. So you came here, you went through a lot. I know just a small, tiny portion of it. You went through a lot. Obviously, you're now a successful business owner. Um, but I also feel like oftentimes we get to hear these inspiring stories and amazing stories, but oftentimes we get to hear the last part of it, which is obviously the nicest part of it. But I would like to give this with this platform, also create a platform that people get to hear the challenges of the stories, the ups and downs of the stories, the setbacks of the stories of immigrant entrepreneurs, that it's undeniably part of the story. And by sharing this, I would also like to inspire other people that maybe are starting out, maybe are not where they want to be, and they need to get inspired. So yes, please go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I'm excited to hear more about your story.
Oh, thank you, Ali. My name is Reza, you know, and I'm from Iran. And I came here like 25 years ago and started my journey uh, basically with lots of up and down. You really can't guess. You really, if they tell me 25 years ago what I would do and what I am doing today, and in where, and I would say, man, you're talking about who? It's true, and I think most of us are like that. And I'll be honest with you, the one thing I hated, and I try to stay away from it, is to be ordinary, to be repeating my life every day. uh, Still, I hate it. Still, mm, unfortunately, I would say most of um, us are like that. The people like ordinary life. People like 9 to 5 and go to work and come home and go to gym, maybe watch TV and start over again and do it again and again and again and again, and then retire and then do the what the retired people do, and then again and again and again. So that was one thing I really didn't like, and I really believe if you experience different things, you live more, because we only have one life, right? That's this many years. I don't know, 70, 80, 90 years, if you be very optimistic, and which are the prime years maybe is only like 30, 40 years, and which the childhood and high school, I don't know, those are more like fun and growing up, and the the age in the end, you're just relaxing and need cares. And so right in the middle where you have your time and you have your prime. So uh, I was a person, I really didn't like to have a one set life. I was reading, there are in some countries people change their job once or twice in their career. I really don't understand that. It's I respect that. There is a sense of security. There is a you know sense of peace. I would say the word peace, but at the same time, people are different. I like challenges. I like up and down. I like to try different things, and I feel I had when I'm thinking, actually, I tell you that one of my friend was always telling me, you know, I wish the human being had 3 or 4 or 5 lives, and we can live again. We can live again. Then I realize when I think to myself, and I realize myself 20 years ago, 25 years ago, and now I really did have few lives. I really did live few different experience. I don't even remember myself 25 years ago and my goals. Oh, my goals was this and I have to do that. And, then gradually you change. And if you really are willing to take little risk, that's all about America, actually. Little risk, the sky is the limit. I really believe so. And although I did good for myself, I think as a person who come to this country with a very little knowledge, with almost zero skills of speaking English, with absolutely empty pocket. To be frank, I came here. I had $1,500, and then I was lucky to have that. I heard there are some people don't even have that, and yeah, that can be true. And then today the life is different, and then I basically I really believe it's uh, due to the choices we make, and the path we take us to the places we want to be. uh, and the most important thing is, I always tell all my friends, is like, the best poker player is a poker player who can draw the hand, who can say, what, I made a mistake. You have to have a courage to wait for the next hand. It's change. If you think this is not going to work, have a courage and start over in a different business, in a different path, in a different whatever it is. So that's actually what I did. In the last 25 years, I have no problem saying that. People sometimes hide in it. I had tried 22 different businesses.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, I failed 17 times. Yeah, up to zero. So when I say I failed 17 times, people laugh. My friends must say, "Oh, how could you manage? You lose everything." And I said, because I really think life is like a muscle. If you don't work the muscle doesn't get thick and strong.
Right.
If you don't try life, so you're going to be an ordinary person. What for me was important, to just not be another ordinary person in a history comes and goes. That's it.
So I would love to go back. Those are amazing stories that we will get into later, but I would love to go back 25 years ago. Go to back the Reza who came here to the US. I know you could not even speak English. I remember that.
Nothing.
So let's go back there. I remember. So, by the way, let me tell you, you're one of the smartest people I know. Seriously, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that because you're sitting in front of me. It's because I truly believe. Okay, but there is a but to it. Being smart doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. It
Absolutely.
takes a lot more than only being smart. There is tons of smart people out there who never make it anywhere. Okay. So the reason I'm saying this, I know you had a degree already when you came to the US. But take us through, what was it like? You came here and then you shifted gears, as much as I know. You shifted gears. But what was it like? Okay. Reza gets here in the US. Now you don't speak anything. You don't know what to expect. You don't know what life is being like living in the US, right?
Right.
So now I know you told me some stories that you worked jobs and then you had to sleep in sometimes in a place that you worked. And so take us through that 25 years ago. You came here. Hello. My name is Reza. I don't speak anything. I cannot communicate with anyone. What was it like getting here?
First of all, when I was back home in Iran, I met a gentleman who lived in America for many years, and very nice older gentleman. And he came to Iran to visit. He told me one thing, it is stuck in my head up to today, and I tell everybody. He said, listen, America is a land of opportunity. As a matter of fact, I think what he told me apply everywhere, but more to America. He said, if somebody come to America and they believe they're gonna start from zero without thinking who I was, what's gonna happen to me, and I just wanna get into the system. I wanna work my way from bottom up. They're gonna be successful. He said, either that person is successful or a person comes with hundreds of millions of dollars already, so they don't have to work. They inherit some kind of money and they come here and they invest. People in the middle usually suffer. People who are not accepting, you know what, I'm going to do everything possible to make it happen, and don't even have that kind of crazy money. Those are the people who usually suffer in the middle. And when I came here, that was exactly the case. I felt it. I said, you know what? These people who come with some background and some degrees and some money and some saving, they can't accept the fact I am coming to the different world. I'm coming to the different planets. The most importantly, people think is a language, is not, is culture.
100%.
Is culture. You know, people see things differently. People approach things differently. Even they talk to each other differently. Even they stand, in front of each other differently. The eye contact is different. The body language is different. So you are coming to the new world. You have this degree from your home. You have this limited amount of resources and money, and you expect same thing happen to you. You expect, because I was a managerial position in a respected company in my country, now I have to be same. Absolutely not. Exactly, you have to think who you are now. That one advice is stuck in my head. And when I came here, I said, listen, man, you're nobody. Doesn't matter you went to school, it doesn't matter my family actually had decent money, and they could help me. I said, absolutely not. If I want to stand on my feet, I have to stand on my feet, and this is the time. And let me tell you, it was, for me, for my case, for good or bad, I don't know. It was a major shock, even in different ways. It was not only I'm coming to the new country with a new culture, new language, new everything, new laws. It was not only that. It was the phase of my life I have to start responsibility and making money. Before I come here, I was a student. My parents were paying all the bills. I never earned any money. Even if you're in your country, when you are going through the phase of being dependent to your family to independent is a big change, right? So imagine I had that on top of it. I'm in a new territory. now I'm in a new territory. I don't even know. I have to shake hand with people or not. I don't even know what I have to say, And then now I am in a position I have to make money here, on top of that, make money here and manage my finances and all that. So it was very tough. And I am proud, and I'm not hiding my past, and I don't think there is anything wrong with it. To be saying I was a simple worker. I work in a supermarket, and I have no problem saying that. I was very, very bottom job, not like cleaning basically. I work in a restaurant, and the bottom job, because I couldn't talk to a customer. I couldn't say anything. I work in a construction. I work any job you can imagine, and one day here, one day there. Since I didn't know much, most of the time I would getting fired, because and right now, at the time I was very emotional, very upset. Why these people just kicking me out, But right now I'm just thinking about it. I'm laughing on that personality. I said, man, you don't know. I bring you an example. I got a job in a bakery, and then the guy told me, okay, you know what? This is how you make a bread, and you roll it like that. And the bread, is supposed to be like this much, right? So every time I was making a bread, it was this much. And, and then the guy said, you know what? Get the hell out of here. And then I got a job with this guy to go paint houses. He said, you know what, I'm painting the houses, I need the assistant. So you just bring the, buckets. And so I bring the buckets. And then, one day I asked him, dude, are you happy with my work? He said, yeah, you know what, the only good things you can do for me is you sit in my car so I can go to carpool. He said, you're absolutely useless. So this is the real stories. And then I didn't get upset. I just laughed because I needed that money. I needed that, I don't know, $25 a day, that $15 a day. I work for $15 a day, $10 a day. It was way below minimum wage. Because I couldn't get a job in minimum wage, because nobody was giving me anything. So yeah, it's when you have to be open to get exploited when you come to the new territory, and then that makes me a different man today.
Okay.
Let me tell you about that specific thing. Right now, even if I have somebody come clean the house or somebody do something basic for me, I never ever, because of that experience, I learned myself. I never ever let them get disrespected by amount of money they get paid. Respect is not only, you treating people good. Respect is about the money you offering them for the services they give you. Never, my basically basis is I never be even close to minimum wage. I always have to be higher. So the person feel, you know what? I am a legit person working as anybody else in this country. And this guy is not here to take advantage of me because I have paper, I don't have paper. Those things are joke to me. But anyway.
Okay, that's amazing, man. So many nuggets there. But let's go back to the specifics. So you came here, you had a degree in electronic engineering,
Yeah.
right? Okay. So you came here as an engineer. That's why I respect you and your story so much. So you came here as someone who already had a degree. You also had your situation, man. We can be open about it. Your financial situation growing up was different than mine. I was not financially in a situation like you were. So you pretty much came from a great life, gave everything up, came here for a better future, for whatever you had in mind. And you came here, you started at the bottom with having already a degree, with already having the financial blessings that you have had, and say, I let all this go in order to do whatever it takes to start at the bottom again. Okay, that is a whole different story in itself. So, but here's the thing. Okay, now you come here. Now, what did you do from there? Obviously, you did not start, or as much as I know, you did not start working as an electronic engineer. What was it like, and then what happened from there?
Oh, actually, I tried to do that. In the beginning when I came here, I met few people, and I tried to get a job in the area, but it was almost impossible. It was impossible because again, you don't speak English, you don't know anything about the United States system, how it works, coding. I didn't know anything about anything. Now I know how little I knew. At that time, I was getting offended every time. Oh yeah, I am this, I am that. I don't even need you guys, but but then I said, you know what? The only way is I go continue my education and get a solid degree from United States. And I start looking different options, and then I realize at that point, and what I'm going to tell you is true. This is for the people who want to go study different majors. The majors are extremely time related. For example, today you can be a lawyer and make a bunch of money, but maybe in 10 years, that doesn't mean anything. You can be a lawyer and make normal money. All of this, first of all, is depend on the person. Two lawyers with the same degree, they can make a night and day money. They can make a very different, success. However, I'm just talking about the average. I'm talking about the average engineer today, an average engineer maybe in 20 years, average, physical therapist today. So before you get to any degree, try to do yourself a huge favor and study the market. Study the market now and study the market in the future. And that's what I did. That was the best thing in my life. I did that. And I studied the market and I saw, what, even if I get different degrees, if I get a PhD, that's not going to be a promising path I want to go. I have to go get into the healthcare. I wanted to be a lawyer, but I was very realistic to myself. My English barrier wouldn't let me. Even with the English I'm speaking today is a disadvantage in a court of law. You have to basically deal with your ability. You have to be courageous enough to say, what, these are my strengths, these are my weakness, and I wouldn't do this because of my weakness. And that's what exactly. Being a lawyer for me, especially immigration lawyer, that was a favorite subject, but I decided not to, solely because of lack of English at that point. But being in the medical field, half of my class couldn't even talk, proper English, but they're good doctors. Right. You never can say. So I started, I went to pharmacy school. But going to pharmacy school is not that easy. I started the college and getting the English and, ESL basically. Wow. To start talking very basic English. And I passed those times. And when I say I passed those times, it's not that simple. I just do it for the sake of the time we have today. I was working in multiple jobs and I was going to college. I remember I didn't have a car and I have to work in this supermarket, which was very far from my home because nobody else offered me a job. And I had to go with the boss. The boss would take 2 hours to get to the supermarket. Wow. because as you know, California is extremely, especially in South California, Los Angeles area, is very bad in the public transportation. And then after that, I had to walk another 20 minutes because there was nothing. There was no Uber, or if it was, I couldn't afford Uber anyway. So because the money, I was making $40 in a whole day. So I had to go some days there, some days you go to school, and it was a typical story many of us have. So these are not something new for people who did that. And I learned English, and then I went to college, and then the key was you get surrounded yourself with the people who are useful in your path. I am not saying to take advantage of people. That's a very different saying. To be around people, to hear their advices, to hear their stories, to hear their path, ask them for advices, put your input, and just listen. And as I always says, we all love to have experience different things in life, but the life is too short. Sometimes we cannot experience everything. Sometimes we must use other people's experience. So when I was in college, I started doing that. I started talking to all the people. Oh, you know what? what is good, what is in the market, what is, how you can make a good money, how you can make a good life. At that time, my priority was to just make a good money and good life for myself. I was tired of getting boss. I was tired of walking. I needed a car. I needed an apartment. I need something for myself. So people says, what, medical field, especially if you can be a dentist, or something like that, or doctor. And then again I faced the reality. I said, okay, you know what, I want to be a doctor in this country with the amount of competitiveness, and yeah, it's gonna take 20 years of my life, and is not guaranteed. So I choose a faster, quicker path, which can has a quicker return for me, and and I don't hate it. It's very important you don't hate it. And I fortunately, I like chemistry. you know People like something, because my mom was a chemistry major back home, so I always liked chemistry. I liked substances and those things. And then the closest, fastest thing I could find was a pharmacy. So I said, you know what, pharmacy is making very good money at that point. I'm talking about that years. And then pharmacy is making very, very decent life. So let's do it. And then in college I asked, what's the quickest way? They told me, if you get in basically GPA of 4.0, get every class A, maybe you can make it. So that was my goal at the time. Laser focus on your goal. I said all this to say, when you set up a goal, laser focus. And then I laser focus to get 4.0 GPA. Nothing else was important. Nothing else was important. Making money was not important. What is my car was not important, which I didn't have. Nothing was important. What I have to eat was not important. If I'm in a good shape, if I'm going to gym or not, was not important. I wanted the 4.0 GPA to get to the pharmacy school, to change my status. And I did. And that was hard. Nights and day of study and work and pay the bills. And I got in. Pharmacy school was even harder. Yeah, because my major was totally different. And that was few more years of hard life, but which, let me tell you, all those things are your life, and you are not getting it back. So you better live it and enjoy it. And I did. And I'm very happy. And it was lots of studying, work. In a pharmacy school, actually, I was lucky. I did less work because thanks to the system, I could get some loans because I was in a graduate school. And then I graduated, and then I said to myself, okay, you know what? Now I have this degree, I work for it. Now at this point, I was speaking good English. Okay, English. I had my degree in my hand. I was, ahead of a game. Now is the time to make all those debt back, because I had to pay a lot back for the student loan and all that. And at that point, I started working hard. That was maybe the hardest working area of my life, mean physically and time wise. Don't get confused between working hard. Sometimes people think working hard means you go to work 90 hours a week, don't sleep, work, 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 work. But you're doing the wrong work. You getting what I'm saying? So working hard, maybe sometimes you sit home and think for 30 minutes. The amount of energy and brain you put is so much, and then you make things happen. So at that point, was physically I was doing the most work possible, because now I'm trying to, my first goal was, again, my goal changed. My first goal was, I will not pay interest to these banks who lend me the money. I'm refusing. My dad teach me that.
You mean who lend me the money on my student loan?
Yes. And my living expenses. So you pay an interest, right? this is one thing I am against. I feel no comfortable paying interest to people because I really don't like it. I really think the people getting advantage of you. I the moment the pharmacy school finished, most of the students they got their beamers, they got their apartments, they start paying, mortgages, all that. Very good. I respect that. They have life and everything. But for me, I had a roommate, small apartment, simple car, and my roommate one time asked me, I was working 7 days a week, straightforward, with no break, different places to make money. And my roommate asked me at that point, man, why you work so much? You're making good amount of money. I said, you know what? Until I owe people and I have to pay them, interest, I don't feel comfortable. I have to make that, So I paid my student loan in, like, people usually paid in 30 years. I paid in 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So every single dime was saving and paying, going to, student loan. So now I'm stress free, and I get rid of the student loan. Now my roommate asked me again, now why are you working so hard? I said, now my goal is changed. And he said, what is that? I said, the only reason I'm working so hard because I don't want to work. He said, I don't understand. I'm very confused. I said, yeah, you heard me right. The only reason I work so hard now because I want my financial freedom. I like to work. I put it in an example, like school. There are many of us go to school and they like to learn about the material. You like to know about science. However, when they put you in the situation of exam, you hated it. You understand? I always says, you know what? I really like this book. I really want to read it in my free time, but I don't want to be pressured by the scary exam. If I don't pass it, they're going to kick you out and blah, blah, blah. Same concept for the work. I really like to work. I really like to work until my last days, but I want to do it in my own pace and my own freedom. That was the reason I was selling my time. I would say, I'm not saying working, because working, to me, working hourly means selling your time. I was selling my time, my all time, everything I had except the shower and sleep, to get enough money and resources to be able to start my own business, to be able to grow my own business to the level now I don't have to respond to anyone. I have a freedom of, of work. I can say, you know what, for the next 15 days, I don't do anything. I just want to think. For the next 1 month, I just want to think about the new plan. And that's where the success comes. When you have enough time in your hand to be able to see, think from outside, then you can make a right decision. When you are in the action and you are so busy with your daily work, your brain doesn't function that freely. You are so involved, you will think the whole world is this business. The whole world is this area. The whole world is this. Imagine people working in a restaurant, they're having a goal to be a restaurant owner. Maybe there are some other things makes better money. The people who work in a mechanic shop, they work so hard to become a good mechanic and then become an owner, which is very good because you are betting on what your knowledge is. What I'm saying is, if you get to the level of financial freedom, then you can sit back and see different opportunities. And I see, again, you have to have a courage also, and then you can sit down and say, okay, you know what, wait a minute, the business I'm doing is very good, this business is, however, is much better. How about I switch a little by little to the other territory? And that's exactly what I did.
But it takes a lot of courage and trust and faith, first and foremost, in yourself.
Yes.
That you have the capability in doing this and being successful in it. And at the same time, going after it when you fail.
Yes, that's why I had 17 fail. And I'm proud of it. Every single one teach me something. I don't see it as a failure. I see it as a school. It was the business school.
It's a lesson.
You really don't have to go to business school to be a good businessman. You have to learn it in action. I tell you something, maybe it's funny. Every time I want to test my courage and I want to do something, I just remember one scene of a movie. Do you remember the movie Saving Private Ryan?
Yes, that was the soldier. Yes.
Spielberg movie.
Yes.
So, do you remember the time these people were trying to land in Normandy and they were trying to get to the territory? At that point, when they start landing, it was like a rain of bullets coming at them, and they're brave enough to try to go to break the German line. Right? Every time I think to myself, I say, man, if there was a man with that kind of courage, I can change business. There are not that kind of bullets coming at me. I'm not gonna die. Nothing gonna happen to me. So yeah, I might lose bunch of money. I might lose opportunities. It might give me an emotional effect. Don't forget about that. Every time you lose, is not only losing money, is you losing basically motivation for the next project. That's a very, very important factor. People lose one time and then they don't trust the system anymore. No, it doesn't mean necessarily you lose one time and that's going to happen all the time. So the courage, every time I feel fear, I just remember the Saving Private Ryan's scene of the bullet. Is that bullet coming at you? No. So I can do it. I can do it.
So, okay, amazing, man. I love where this is going. So I have a few questions. I have so many questions, actually. But before we get there, and how you started, how you transitioned from being an employee who worked pretty much all day, 7 days a week, to going to becoming a business owner. We will get there in a minute. But here is another question that just came up for me as I was listening to you. When you said I had these lessons, these life lessons, these life teachings, and when you pivoted, when you realized, okay, maybe that was not the thing that I was meant to do, and now I have to pivot and move on without beating myself up for not having success. When do you know that it is not the thing that you should hold on to any longer, and you should move on to the next business, to the next project, whatever we call it? And when do you feel, hey, it's just another challenge then that I should hold on to and to do the work, because it's going to be hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. Sooner or later you get to face it. It is hard, it is challenging, okay? But when do you know is the right time to move on? And when do you feel and know, hey, I have to stick at it. I need to do the reps,
This is the $64,000 question. Right. This is the most important question. Actually, you bring me to the famous book quote. It was 3 feet away, something like that. The guy was looking for the gold, and he was going and going and going, and he gave up, and he was only 3 feet away from the gold. Right. And okay, your feeling and your instincts usually don't lie, usually, and like, I hate to say it, but we have to accept again our ability. Like a great basketball player or great soccer player or everybody, I was always saying everybody practice hard, but there is only one Lionel Messi, right? And there is only one Ronaldo. So sometimes things comes to you by basically nature, sometimes by your courage, sometimes, to answer to your question better, you have to see how much risk is worth it to take. How much risk is worth it to take, not how much risk are you willing to take. Okay, you have to be realistic. I had this very similar situation, and then I sit down to myself. I had a business, and the business was a promising business, and it was going to the right direction. But 6 months in a row, it start to be negative, 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 negative. And I talked to the business manager we have, and then I said, my friend, this business going downwards. I'll be honest with you, if it's me, I pull out before we go more red. And however, I took, I love it. I took economic courses in college, and base of economics says if you can delay closure, has a better emotional effect. It's nothing to do with science or business. Is with your, it's not with your brain, it's with your heart. So I said, you know what? However, I am willing to continue the business if we can put a plan to get out of this mess. And if we cannot, we're going to close tomorrow. Are you ready? And he came up with a great plan.
Wow.
And, you know, you have to open yourself, and you have to basically listen to the others' ideas. That's why I bring the example of Lionel Messi. There is only maybe the comparison is Elon Musk, in business, or Jeff Bezos, or people like that. So we have to face it. We are not any of those. We are ordinary, normal people. Again, as much as I don't want to say ordinary, we are normal people. And then we have to hear other people's idea. The most important thing is, do not think you know everything. Basically, now I know I don't know anything. The more I learn, the more I understand I don't know nothing. and now I'm laughing how little I knew when I made that decision, and how little I knew when I started that business, and I was just laughing. And anyway, so open your heart, listen to the other people's idea, and give them a chance. Sometimes the people who work for you are better than you. Nobody says, but they were not in the right opportunity or right time to make it happen. So that's what I did, and we made it. We made it through. I have the opposite situation. Actually, I had a story. I think you remember that. And the store was losing. I had a conversation with a manager, and a manager I gave him the same opportunity. I said, listen, we close this shop. You are the person, you an employee are the person, go away. I still have other businesses. I'm okay, but what is your plan? You're losing every month. And the plan was absolutely disaster. I knew it. But to just, to just give a benefit of the doubt to the manager, to respect, I say bye to like 3 more months of loss. I said, okay, we're going to try it. But I knew. So we have to shut down. And we lost. So to answer to your question, when you want to do one more push on how this is not worth it, I'll be honest with you, you don't. I just ask the experts. I just open my heart to get other people's opinions. I go with my feeling, and I just try to get calculated risk as much as possible. Calculate. Yes, usually the history doesn't lie. Usually what happened in the past is going to happen in future. Usually people won't change. Usually if these employees could make this amount of output, they're not going to be Superman overnight. So you can basically see the future of a company from the past performance, except you come with some kind of crazy idea.
So this being said, do you I don't want to go woo-woo and new agey here, But do you also believe that gut feeling, our gut feeling helps us if we're really connected and if we listen? Because I truly believe we have all the answers within us. But we need to listen, we need to be connected, we need to be rooted. So my question is, do you feel or do you think our gut feeling, or in your case, if you had trusted your gut feeling from the get-go, it would have helped you, with saving time, money, energy, whatever you had to spend on?
Ali, unfortunately, I don't have what you have, and I'm very very honest, and I can admit it. I wish, many times my feeling was wrong, and many times my feeling was right. So now, when you were telling me that in like this short 10 second, I was reviewing decision I made, and maybe it was 50-50. 50% of the time, I really believe I said, man, that's not gonna happen, and that did happen.
Oh, wow.
And these days I usually don't go with my feeling. Your feeling gonna tell you something. Usually is correct, but in my case, it happens to be not correct, and it is highly depend the people you surround yourself. Uh, you must surround yourself with experts, with people who knows that particular business as much as you know or more. I try to find the people who know more than me. So I learn from them, and I just put the input of my um, basically my knowledge, my general experience of life, and this is actually uh, what I learned from my dad. Maybe the two key importance I learned from my dad is I asked him one time, Dad, what's the key to success? That's what my dad think. I'm not entirely agree, but he said, let me tell you, the key to success is first you have to think when you go to business, everybody's there to take your money. I think always negative about every business, except proven to me wrong. Second is about the morality of the issue. No one, he said, son, no one in this town, I'm doing business for 40 years, like old fashioned business, bazaar business. No one in this town can come here today and claim I owe them a dime. But I tell you that no one can tell you he owes me a dime because I make sure I get my money. you know, you know. And then I said, how you do that? He said, just being tough, not trust anyone. Um, I found it very hard to be practical in the United States. Maybe it's possible in different cultures. In here, if you don't put some trust, nothing gonna go forward. And sometimes the trust is the risk you're taking. Trust in a person, trust in an idea, trust in a situation. I am a kind of guy, trust people and test them. It's a work. Sometimes it will surprise you how cheap are people. Sometimes it will surprise you. You know, they just want to get $3,000 and run. And it's many time happens to me. I am not like my dad. There are many people owe me money in this town, and I have no problem with that. You know why? Because I minimize my long-term loss. When a person comes and trick me over like $5,000 and go away, believe me, some part of me is angry. Oh, this guy did this to me. But majority inside me are very happy because that could be a 500,000 later loss.
100%.
You get rid of this person, you erase it from the book. with very cheap amount of money. You settle very cheap. And this is how many people are so small, and they really think, now I got this money and now this is unfortunate. The second advice I got from my dad, I have to tell it, is not business related, but I really think it is business related. Was I told my dad that if if you have if you want to choose a woman as a partner of your life, and there are qualities of beauty, education, being supportive, being from a good family, you know, which one you choose? Being a good businesswoman. And he looked at me and he said, none. I said, what do you mean none? Which one you choose first? He said, I only choose one thing. And after that, I think about those options. But without that, I don't even go forward. And I said, well, what is that? He said, loyalty. He said, if you don't have a loyal partner, you don't have a secure home. If you don't have a secure home, you don't have anything. And I really believe that your brain to function for business is highly depend on your mental health wellness. If your mental health wellness is not there, you're wasting your time in business.
You messed up.
You messed up. You making emotional decision. You making bad decision. You firing wrong people. You hiring wrong people. You don't even know what you're doing. So the moment you are in peace with yourself from your home things, then you can come to office. If you're not in peace with yourself, you better take a day off. I really strongly believe that. And yeah, of course, everything is important, but that factor is something. And I expand that. I expand that to not only your partner, but also your business associate. There are business associates I have. We compete with each other. We do business with each other, but we are loyal to each other. Those people are priceless. It's like good friend. I have few friends, and I tell them always, you know what? Just being with you is $10 million. Just sitting with you. You don't give me anything. I don't give you anything. But just having someone, having loyal people in your circle is important. Having loyal people with the knowledge in your circle is icing on the cake. And that's another key. Surround yourself with the people who can add to you, not some, people who just having fun with. Fun is good. Having fun is really good. There are some funny people I always want to be around. But in the long term, you need people to add value to you, and you add value to them. That's what I learned from my dad.
And also people that can challenge you in a good way, I believe.
Absolutely.
To you is also, I believe, one way by adding value is also when they challenge you,
Make you think. And those people, they give you your flaw. The good friend is the mirror. Gives you, not in public, humiliate you, no. But I can says, you know what, this is what you're doing is wrong, and I'm your best friend, and I'm telling you this. That's a most valuable lesson you can get.
You know what? I have never told you that, but it stuck with me, man. You don't believe it. And I'm not sure even if you remember it. But here's the thing you told me so many years ago, and it stuck with me. So do you remember when I used to come to LA, we would go party hard, and
Right.
I would spend all the money I had and even more. So, and business was flourishing. It still is to this day, thank God. Not always continuously, but ups and downs like we all have. You told me one thing. You said, hey, business is not always gonna go up, 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 up. And you will not always have the amount of money that you will have today. And that was single when you told me that. You will not always have, business is gonna change, life is gonna change. And as kind as you are, you didn't directly address it to me, but you said, I remember the exact words you told me. You said it's always good to keep the future in mind and have, think about the future, how we want to create our future, and not always count on the money that we have at this moment. Man, kudos to you. That one thing
Thank you.
I still remember to this
Really,
day. That was
yeah, I
such
remember that day. That day actually was after a day we went to the party in Hollywood, and I gotta say it, with your permission. You spent $10,000 on a table, and
well, I was not planning to spend
yeah,
10K on a
yeah,
table,
that
but it happened.
break my heart. And then it was not about the money. I knew you were, you were doing good and everything, but I seen it before, and because I love you in a very special way. Is not only because of family, is because of a person. You know it. So, and I said, man, this is doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world. This is just meaningless. This is just meaningless to have some stupid party and and throw away money like that. No. And then I have to talk to this guy one to one. And I had many of these episodes with my friends. And you know how many times I had this, not this conversation, something similar, sometimes bother me. You know, when people wasting talent, I see people with lots of potentials and they're wasting talents. And I ask them sometimes, come talk to me one by one and one to one. And then I said, listen, man, why you working 9 to 5 this job with no goal? You can do much better. This is the opportunity. This is the way. This is believe it or not, Ali, every 10% I talk, and I honestly, there's nothing for me to gain. I just wanna, I just see them as myself. I just wanna change their life because they're friend. They're around. I would love to have bunch of successful, rich people friend around me. I really do not understand people who are jealous and they want to be better than their friends and this and that. I want to be the least successful of my friend. That's okay because I learn from them. I want to be surrounded. All my friends become super successful, super rich, super happy. And I say it out loud because I really do not know. That's sickness. That's sickness. People think, oh yeah, I have to be better than you and this and that.
It's limited thinking.
Yeah, yeah. So I have a funny friend. He told me I loved my friend to be rich, only for one reason. And I said, what's your reason? He said, so they never ask me for money. He's a funny guy. I like him. So believe me or not, I talk every 10 people I talk, and I wanted to give them my advice. Whatever small it is, only one take it, and 9 they say, oh yeah, that was very nice, and I didn't say anything else, but I looked at life, and they're just continuing what they're doing. Good for them. I'm not saying everybody have to be entrepreneurial. Everybody have to be no. It's not that. The life is not about money. The life is not about. The life is honestly is the life is internal happiness and, to me, financial freedom. To me, some people maybe not agree, but to me is freedom. Freedom is very important. Peace of mind, and then anyway.
So does this financial freedom, and we will continue. We're also going over time, so I believe we will wrap this episode soon up. But I will definitely have, because I believe we shared like 1/10 of your
Oh
story.
yeah, yeah.
So there are so many things that I want to cover, but we are also going over time a little bit. So definitely I will have you back. But before we wrap up, I have two more questions for you. Number one, there is to the financial freedom, I believe there is a number to it, right?
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna ask you what that number is in your case, but is there also a number for you that you're working towards this number and you're like, okay, when I get to this number. Maybe you're already there. I don't know. But when you get to this number, you feel like, okay, now I'm gonna change my structure, change the structure of my life, of my professional, personal life. So that's my first question. Is that the case in your life?
I'll be honest with you. People have a different lifestyle. This is the thing is very personal, and you cannot really tell. You know what is good, what is bad. For me myself, I am a kind of guy. I am not after luxurious life. Doesn't matter how much money I have, and I can have $1 billion. I don't think it's gonna be a much change to my life to today. Which it's I really think after some amount of money, the money just become nonsense. They become, you know, if you have your bill paid, if you have, your nice house, if you have your nice cars, I don't know whatever you want, if you have a good food, you know, but for some people, um, the number is more. There is no number, and I, to me, that's also a sickness to me. Again, I don't want to try to disrespect people, but their expectation is different. After few luxury cars, now it comes boats, and after boats, now it comes private airplane. Now maybe they will come. They want to be I don't know what they want to be. But to me, the comfortable life, which I be able to also guide and help others, is very important. And then to answer your question, honestly, there is no number you can put on it, but I believe in a modest life. This is me.
And I truly believe that, I mean, in my own life, I do like nice things. I do like luxurious things, but that's not the whole picture for me. I do believe that is only one tiny part of the life that I am designing for myself, And there are other pillars in it, like as you said, having a positive impact on others people's lives. Because that's truly what I believe, that's why we're here. That's why we're in this world and on the planet Earth, to make an impact, whatever way it is, whatever we believe or one believes it's the right way to have a positive impact on other people's lives. So before we wrap up, I would like to ask you one last question. And this is, was there, so obviously we will cover this on the next episode, what it meant or what it was like for you when you started your life, your professional life as a business owner and everything. But I would like to ask you, was there a pivotal moment in your life when you were still working jobs and you were, as we say, hustling around and getting from paycheck to paycheck maybe? Was there a pivotal moment when you told yourself, hey, stop? There is, no matter how hard it's gonna get, no matter how challenging it's gonna get, I'm gonna do everything that it takes, and I'm gonna leave it all in there to have the life that I want to create for myself in the future. Was there a moment like that?
Oh, a few of them.
Okay.
Actually, I'm glad you bring this up. It's man, uh, I remember two episodes, but there are way more. I call them a kicker. It give you a kick to run, and they are very very good. Some people take it wrong. Some people get depression. But those are the moments you have to see if you get it, if you have it on you. I remember I was working in this store. It was a mom and pop shop, small store, and I was working a day job, and I was helping out in sales. I was like a salesperson. And this guy came with his shiny, beautiful car, park it in front of the store, and come to the shop. And he was the guy, wholesaler guy, selling our store the merchandise. And the owner of the store, look at me in a look was very heavy. And I remember now. And he looked at me, he said, "Hey son, go get us two cup of tea. We have things to talk about." And then I think about it. At that point, I look and I thought, you know what? If I put these two together, they don't have 25% of my knowledge together. And I'm go getting tea for them. There's something wrong here. And they really think they have money. That gave me two things. One was soon after I quit and went to not emotionally today or tomorrow. I served that tea. I did that because that's a part of life. You have to do it. But I learned my lesson. And the lesson was, you know what? If you want to be somebody for yourself and don't allow people to talk to you that way, it's on you. You have to do something. And I did. I went back to college and start my different style of life. The second things I learned from that, which is very, very important. Today, I have more than 300 employees, maybe more. I never ever let myself talk to anyone like that. Because when you learn things, when you come from bottom, you feel the bottom. You understand every position of a company and the importance of it. Every human being has dignity, has, proud. They are proud. You have to respect everyone in the same manner. I am strongly believe that. The person comes to clean the floor, the person who serve the receptions, the CEOs, the salesperson, the best earner of the companies, they get the same respect from me. Another incident, I was working in a supermarket and this big fat guy came, huge guy. And he bought like few things. And then he was much stronger than me. At the time, I was like a small guy and, a teenager. I don't know. And then he told me, "Hey, boy, put these bags in my trunk." I look at him, I look at his size and look at him. I said, okay. So because I didn't want to lose my job. So I took it to his, shiny car, put it in his car. And I asked him, "I'm sorry, what you do for a living?" He said, "I'm in real estate. I sell houses and this and that." Okay. And he didn't tip me actually, but but the best thing was the way he treated me. That was the biggest tip I could get. Then I said, okay, first of all, you never be like him. Although I do real estate myself right now, lots of projects on the side. And second, maybe that's the way to go. Maybe if you want that car, you have to go to real estate and you don't have to work here and put things in the bag. But you have to find a way to get there. You cannot, that's the thing really, really frustrate me. The subject come to subject. Every time I open the social media or Instagram, I see these people, oh yeah, you know what? If you want to become like me, if you want to be a billionaire, have 20 buildings and have this car, just come to my class. I teach you the shortcut. In 15 minutes, you become the, this real estate guy and that real estate guy. In 3 hours, in the lesson, in 2 days conference, I make you with no money from yourself, with no experience, with no education. I make you the richest person in the world. Man, it just bothers me. It just bothers me to sell fake hope. This the people who do that, they're criminals. If they knowingly selling hopes, they are very bad people. And if you really are that successful, how come you need $1,000 for the course, a $500 for the course? You are a millionaire, right? For Christ's sake, go get your money. Why you are trying to get these little people's money who are desperate to get successful? That makes me very angry. But if somebody come and tells you, okay, you know what I teach you is going to take years of experience and knowledge, and you become a successful person, yes, I respect that.
And you have to do the work.
You have to do the work.
You have to do the work.
You have to sweat, and you have to work, and you have to, be on it, pay attention, be laser focused, and sacrifice. The word is sacrifice. You have to sacrifice going out with your friends. You have to sacrifice. If you're going to school, you have to study. If you work, you have to work. If you are planning, you have to sacrifice partying. You have to sacrifice wasting your time. Your time is all you got. And nothing is more valuable than health and time. And nothing can beat that. And if you are healthy and you have time and you're wasting talent. And, I'm sorry for you. So, yeah, those things are making me frustrated. And I want to tell you something out loud. There is no shortcuts, period. There is no 1 week program to make you rich. There is no a month program to make you different person. No.
Thank you, brother. Absolutely. And this is actually a good moment to come back to why we're doing this, why I decided, or it came to me, or whatever we call it, to create this platform to share inspirational stories like yourself, because we owe this to those who are starting or who are going
Absolutely.
through challenges or whatever, to share genuinely stories that are real life stories.
Absolutely.
We have to bring this out to the world because there is so many fake information, shining object syndromes and everything, whatever we want to call it. That's why I truly believe that this project is so meaningful to me. And regardless of what my talents are, if I'm speaking the right words, if I'm saying the right things, the right moment, no, it's way more about giving value to people and giving a platform to those like yourself who come here and share their stories with the people. So I really, really, really respect you, not only for the success that you have had in your business, but only for the person you are, for the genuine and kind person you are, and with the respect that you treat other people. So I know how busy you are. So once again, a big thank you from my side. And I never told you actually, but I look up to you, man. I look up to you because I know you are the, and I'm getting emotional even saying that. I know you're the kind-hearted guy I want to be. That's because that's, I believe, the people who inspire other people. It's not about the success and the fast car you show up with. It's about the impact to have on other people's lives, and that's what life is about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ali. Thank you for giving me this time. And it's very important to focus on humanity. I really think being a successful and don't care about others, to me, is meaningless. It's we are all together in this world, very short time, and the best is to live happily together.
Absolutely. And I believe we have all it takes, and by just giving a different meaning and perspective to life, I do believe we can change the world for better. So thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Thank you, Ali.
Thank you.